Susan! Susan, will you please come downstairs? I need to talk to you. This is the call of a mother of a technology-obsessed teenager. Now, Susan's mother has been waiting for 30 minutes and she still hears no response. So out of necessity, she tries a different tactic. This time, she calls her daughter by the cell phone. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, Susan's mother is absolutely beyond shocked to see that her daughter, who didn't respond to her for 30 seconds, now suddenly picks up the phone in less than 5 seconds. This is the reality of the world in which we live today. Technology has penetrated to the point that the social life has eroded. The family life has eroded. And with respect to that, I know many of my audience members here today are parents, so I'm sure you can resonate with that experience, because indeed, that is the reality behind every household. Oftentimes, when we consider the enigma behind Teen 101, no one has an answer. But we need to consider that those same cellular devices contain social media, which compel your child to make comparisons between their value and the others, the other posts they see, the amount of likes they're seeing, the amount of followers that they see. With that, I would like to apply the Rotary 4-way test and its principles to see how detrimental social media can be to our society and my generation. So with that, number 1, is this phenomenon the truth? Unfortunately and undoubtedly, yes, this is the truth. We cannot turn a blind eye to the prejudice that social media breeds. In fact, given a global population of 7.1 billion people, I have to tell you that 3.65 billion people have used social media at least once in their lifetime. That's more than 50%. And when I break that rather large scale into something more tangible, the ages 13 to 17, the years of adolescence, we can see that according to the Pew Research Center, 92% of those teens have at least one social media profile. So when I look at the possibilities, whether that be Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or TikTok, there are multiple combinations. And as a student, I have friends who have all of them. How do they manage the time for that? And when I look at another statistic, 51% of those people, you visit their accounts at least once a day. And what's even more startling is that according to CNN, when they do go onto social media, they're spending an average of 7 hours in a day. Last time I checked, a day contains 24 hours. How is this possible? So now that we've established this issue as something that's relevant and prevalent in our society, it's time that we move on to number 2. Is it fair to all concerned? I will give the answer to this by citing an example of 2 different social media users. So here I have Amy. Amy is an underprivileged member of society who is balancing high school with multiple shifts, multiple jobs, just so she can earn a little extra money to help her family survive. And when I contrast that dynamic with someone like Jill is an upper-class member of society who has inherited much of the wealth that she taunts on social media from her parents. When she does go on Instagram to post, she is sure to show off all that wealth, whether that be the shopping nights with her gals or shopping hauls, etc., etc. So when these 2 dynamic personalities interact on Instagram, what can we expect? Is it really fair for someone like Amy, who is hardworking, she is building from the root up, to compare herself with someone who has already gotten these things from the start? Is it fair for one to compare one's value in a capitalistic society with a monetary fund? Now that we've established this, it's important that we move on to number 3. Will social media build goodwill and friendships? Now, if I reference that same example of Amy and Jill, do we really think that they can be good friends? Unfortunately, no, because high school is a popularity contest where people like to associate themselves with their digital class, defined by the number of followers they have, of course. So one of the reasons that Jill will give to Amy for why they can't be friends is by citing and taunting the number of followers that she has. Because of course, Jill has over 1,000 followers, whereas Amy has just 15. So they can't even be in the same class. Now, of course, In society, we've always had these divisions of social wealth and that gap. But social media has only served to accelerate that and reinforce that divide, that stigma, that separation. So when we consider that, I would like to bring another attention to your point, which is, as a high schooler, I have seen my friends citing the reasons for breaking up their childhood friendships, something that they've started from kindergarten, merely by saying, I know that we've been good friends, but times have passed. Why don't you look on social media? You have X amount of followers, I have Y amount of followers. It just doesn't work out anymore. So when we consider that, I want to ask a question. How many of those followers will come to help you when you're in a time of need? Of course, we do go showing off this, but the answer is 0, because only your close friends come to help you. Of course, the amount of followers is fluctuating based on your day-to-day popularity, but we as a society somehow seem to forget that. With that, I would like to move on to number 4. Is it beneficial to all concerned? When we look at what social media has brought, it has only brought added levels of depression, anxiety, stress. And it's disheartening to tell you how many suicides have come out of this act of comparison. Now, with that, I want to leave you with a message. Is it important to leave aside these differences and be able to take action that can be towards a goodwill rather than lament later? It is only as when we, as a society, have found a way to turn those no's of the Rotary four-way test into yeses. It is only then that we will know we have succeeded. Thank you.